And we back again, another episode of Entrepreneur Kickback. And I'm here with Kayla of All Trades. Also, Kayla's Corner. I know you go by many names.
Yes.
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 But I'm here with Kayla today. We're just gonna stick with the first government. And well, first and foremost, thank you for coming aboard. We've been waiting to do this for a long time.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me and sticking with me. I know schedules get crazy, so appreciate
Yeah, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. It's been people since I started this show. We still haven't figured it out.
it. You're
you
right.
know, we even book it and then have to cancel the last minute for whatever reason, whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
that's
Everything
okay,
happens when it's supposed to. So,
right?
yeah.
Right. But well, we can get right into it. For those who don't know you, can you describe yourself and your skill set?
Wow. Okay. Yes. I am a mom first and foremost. Like, I love being a mom. That is the number one word that I guess would describe me. But also, I do a lot of things. I'm a mom of three daughters. My oldest is 20. My youngest is 11. I always have to think about that. And having a 20-year-old, she'll be 21 this year. It's changing. It's weird. But more about me is I also do a lot of entrepreneurial stuff. I'm a notary public. I'll pick up delivering newspapers whenever I need to. I like to do trading. I like to do, mentoring on the side. I like to do the stuff with my kids' school. Plus, I have a full-time job. So I do that as well, that I've had going up on 10 years. So this April will be my 10-year anniversary. So I've done all of that. I also love to work with my hands and just discover new things. So it's just like my brakes need fixing right now. It's got the whole like my brake pad is fixing my rotor, but I got to learn. I already know how to fix that. So I just order my parts. I'm like, I don't got to drive. So that's kind of me. If I want to figure it out, I'll figure it out and find a solution to any issues we have here at the house. My command center here.
Hmm, you're self-efficient.
Yeah, and very very much of a techie as well. So you'll also find me into computers and power tools and all that other stuff. So I could go on, but I do a lot because it's always been me needing to save money. So it's like, all right, so I was a single mom forever, right? And it's not that their father wasn't ever in the picture. It was just like when you're a mom and you don't have a man right there, it's just like you're a single mom. So that typically, is hard. So you gotta have a one income on with three kids and all this other stuff. So, I had to be like, well, my brakes need to be done, my car needs to be fixed, but I don't have $400 for a brake job. So let me learn how to fix brakes, right? Plus, my grandfather and my father taught me a lot of stuff like basics growing up. So it was just like, I need to save money. So if I can buy brake pads at the AutoZone for $40, right, then I can save $300 on labor. So it's like, that's where all of these things kind of came from. It's like, I need to bring in more money, but I also need to save money.
Okay, you really a peacock out here.
I am. A lot of people don't know. That's why I said I could go on and on. I'm also a travel agent. I forgot about that too. So I do that as well because I like to travel. I need to travel. I got to save money too. So there you go.
So where to start? Okay, so because you usually don't run into people who are like handy and then tech friendly as well. They're usually one or the other, or a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So, so let's see, where did that start from? I'm assuming that started with your family. Where like the handy part come in at?
Well, my grandfather, a lot of my stuff came from my grandfather because my mom, well, we had a house here in the Carolinas when Hurricane Hugo hit. And then when it hit, it took away basically our house. We had like a bedroom left. So then we had to move with my grandparents. So then my grandparents started raising us from then with my mom there. And my dad was incarcerated. So my grandfather at that point became the father figure. And so he always worked on cars, but he was older. He was my grandfather's. Well, I mean, this guy was born in 1926. And he worked at NASA as well, and then he had his own radio repair shop. Him and my grandmother met at NASA. So it's like that's where the techie part came in at. And then so he always had that tech side, and then he always showed me stuff about computers. Like I have books of him here with the very first computer at NASA when it's like the it's the whole room. The computer takes up the whole room. So that's where like the techie side came in at, I believe. And then the handyman was, by the time I came along, he was retired, right? So he was doing stuff around the house. He was fixing the deck. He was fixing the fence. He was rebuilding engines on cars. And it's like, I have pictures of me helping him with the engines on the car. I'm inside of it. We took the engine out, right? I'm working on these cars. So it's like a lot of it did come from my family. A lot of it came from my grandfather and he had sons, but they were grown, they were gone. And so now I felt like I was like the next one that he could kind of like pass all these things on to. And he loved to talk about it. So that's just, and I was a sponge for knowledge. So all of that did start with my grandfather way back then, whenever we moved into his house.
Okay, so granddad he made you a juggernaut, if you will, as far as being self-efficient.
Yep. And then I think my mom just kind of fostered it because she was very entrepreneurial. She was like, I don't want to work, right? And I think that's one of the best things you can do with kids is kind of foster that. If you see an interest in them, or if they're always asking you for money, look, you got to make this money. And my mom was really good at that. She would go and she was like, okay, if you want to make money, this is how you do it. And then even when we didn't want to do it, she needed the money, right? She was a single mom of 5 kids, 5 biracial kids in the 80s, right? So it was a time where she was like, we need money, but a lot of people thought that she had it better than she did, which she did in terms of some aspects. But at the same time, we had to do little things like stuffing pantyhose at Walmart, right? You go to Walmart and you see those little clear things of stockings that you buy for Easter or whatever. My mom would come home with the stockings and she would come home with the clear things and we would have to stuff them. So it was always, and then she would turn them in, she would get a certain amount of money for each one she did, and then we would get a cut of that. So it was always a way that you had to earn your own. And it was the same thing with it is the same thing with my kids. It's just like, if you want a bill, you got to learn to pay that bill. Because guess what? This house that you live in, this is my bill that I pay for you guys. So I think fostering that and having that entrepreneurial, and then seeing my grandfather and seeing my mother fostering that. My grandmother was more like, you need to go to school and get a college degree and do this and do this and do this. And I was like, yeah, but that's not really me. Because I felt like I wasn't challenged in school. Like, I graduated school when I was 16, high school. So I was like, and I did the whole high school college thing. So I also was able to graduate with a 2-year associate's degree. And I was just like, what are we doing now? People are going in debt. So they did foster that. And with my mom fostering that, that's really what also dug it deeper. Like, you gotta do this. And my mom was part of Amway, right? Down in these years. So, she really showed how it could be if you were entrepreneurial, like freedom and all that sort of thing. And that's really what drove me towards fostering and having this while having a full-time job.
Okay, so it's your mother. Okay.
It was everybody.
It's a healthy balance of everything. You get both perspectives and you put them together, and now you're leveraging everything.
Yes.
Yeah. No, encourage people to leverage everything. Like personally with me, like I picked up a job, but like I don't just look at the salary. I look at the network and what can I learn from that said job. Mm-hmm. What can I pick up? Who can I meet and who can I affiliate myself with? Mm-hmm. So, I always leverage everything from your job to your school to your hobbies. No matter what, make sure you leverage that, because you never know what it can turn into.
You're exactly right. Like my job now, they give me RSUs, which is restricted stock units, right? So I get free stock, and then I get discounted stock with the employee stock purchase plan. So I'm taking all of that, right? I'm taking it all because I don't plan to be at this job forever. And then on top of that, we have different things where we can get free educational courses. So like with Coursera, they just partnered with them to where we get these free courses. And so really it's about like other people leveraging all these things to where I can get my MBA for free, basically through Coursera if I want to, if that's something I choose to do. and jobs are partnering more with people like this. Or you can go to Google, right, and get it for free. But leverage everything, especially if it's free. And if you're not seeing it advertised, I just encourage people to go to the HR, because I used to be an HR person. Like I was an HR manager at Home Depot. And it's like, go to them, because sometimes the HR is just so busy. They don't know who doesn't have what they need, if that makes sense. And I was always brought up, a closed mouth don't get fed. So it's like, if you want something bad enough, you need to speak up for it. Ask if they have any programs, ask if they have any discounts, leverage everything, just like you're doing at work. Leverage your network. Start somewhere, start where you are.
Okay, you say Coursera. What's Coursera?
Coursera is an educational platform. It's kind of like, I'm trying to think of some other ones, but basically you can go online and get a degree, or you can get a certificate or that sort of thing. It's basically like an online certification program. So you can go on there, and they partner with other colleges as well. So it's kind of a big deal, because it's one step further than paying for your college education, right? Because some people have where their job will reimburse them for school, right? So right now, my hardest thing was, I got to put out the $5,000, and then they'll reimburse me. But I'm like, I don't got that $5,000 to put out. So with them doing it this way, all I have to do is sign up with an account under their particular, like under our corporation code or whatever. And then it'll allow me to sign up and do their courses under that. So it's a bunch of different courses. And Google kind of has the same thing. Like I went through a couple of Google programs as well and got some certificates, like project management and those sort of things. So any type of project management, finance, switching careers, maybe to go into tech, or maybe coming from tech and maybe wanting to go into management or HR or whatever, you can just go to Coursera, and usually there's a charge. Like I think sometimes it's $50 for this course, $100 for this course or whatever. But my job literally in January, are we still in January? Yeah. In January, they just started this new employee benefit where we get access to that Coursera. So I'm excited about that. I haven't even taken advantage of that. I need to, like, things have just been so busy, but you saying that now, taking advantage of everything at your job, it reminded me. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do that.
Okay, that's a nugget.
Yeah.
That is a nugget. Okay. It's a lot to cover with you. We've got to do this with more. We have to do more than one podcast. I see. I already see that now.
I didn't know which aspect of me you wanted to discuss.
Well, one feather at a time.
Like my chickens, right?
Right? Okay. We gonna get back to the chickens. We're gonna get back to the chickens, because she has chickens, y'all. With eggs being at $8 a carton, $9 a carton, depending on where you stay. I found it interesting that you have chickens and you avoiding that altogether. Just it's that self-efficiency thing all over again.
Right. I mean, we always have something to eat. It's like, I was thinking about that today. It's like, we have a lot of people are putting a lot of speculation and bad talk on gas appliances right now. Actually, there's bills going through the government and all this other stuff. They want to get rid of gas appliances. And I'm like, all right, well, like natural gas. And I'm like, I see it's dangerous. But at the same time, I'm in when I had my house built in 2009, it was first phase of this neighborhood, right? It's closed now. But the back end of the neighborhood doesn't have gas. We do. So talk about self-efficiency. The power keeps going out. I can still cook. My stove is gas. My heat is gas. My fireplace is gas, right? Nobody else can around these areas. So it's like, thinking about that. And then way back when I wanted chickens, I was like, well, I want these chickens. And then something in me was like, just get the chickens. I was like, I'll get the fucking chickens. So I got the chickens. And now we're here. Talk about a return on investment, right? These chickens were $4 for $1, I think. $4 for $1. So
$4 for $1?
$4 for $1. Well, the thing, we'll get back to the chickens later, but you can ask me, because there's a whole thing. Then I had to learn to raise chickens, because that's the thing, is like, I got to learn to raise chickens now. Right. And so then I learned to raise them back then, right, when a lot of things were cheap and stuff like that. So now I can make their food, right? I can make their feed now that I did like the commercial stuff, and I know what they need and their protein levels, right, and all of that other thing. So I know what they need. So now I can dig deeper and make their own food if I need to, or give them this supplement or give them this supplement. Our eggs are huge. I should have brought a show and tell for you, but it's like some of our eggs will come out at 3.8 ounces. That's like a extra large egg. So it's just like, you give them love and care. But I love my chickens.
That's a lot better for you too.
Yes, it is. I know exactly what they're getting, right? I know where they are. I know where my food came from. And those are things that I try to teach my kids too. like even with like the gardening that I like to do and stuff like that, like know where your food comes from. I keep telling people like y'all got to look at why Bill Gates and all these billionaires are buying up land. Like why are they buying land? Why are they buying land? Not houses, not like yeah, they're buying property, but like they're buying land. Why are they buying land? Right? Why are they making sure they get them where they have somewhere to farm? Because yeah, you can buy a house, but if you buy a house and then tear it down, that land has contaminants in it by the time everything got put up with the house, etc. So it's better to just buy land. So yeah, you gotta think about things like that as well.
Okay.
There's
Let's.
sufficiency. Gotta be, right?
Yeah. I think you named this episode. Okay. Now that part of self-efficacy, it comes with you making your own money as
Yep.
well. And you said you had a number of let's just say side hustles.
Yeah.
And these are things you can do like today or next week, and you can start making some money.
Yep. Yep.
You mind sharing a few of those?
No, not at all. Now, depending on where you are, people don't think it still happens, but paper routes, right? Like newspaper routes. People are like, what? Now, if you're in like California or whatever, they maybe have like the Sun Times or something. But what you do is you can look around and see, because you can also do like those little, I don't know if they have them everywhere, but they're like over here, they have these little kiosk things where you can go to the gas station and you put your money in, and then you open up the little door and you get your paper and you keep it pushing. You can sign up to fill up those. Now, what I like to do, because I like flexibility, is I like to be a paper route sub, plus you get more money. So I don't have the responsibility of having a route full time, but then again, on the downside is like I don't have that money full time, right? But that's okay because I have a full time job. So you can be a paper route sub. You just got to reach out to like your local newspaper and say who is the person who delivers papers in my area. Chances are it's an independent contractor. So I reached out to that person and I sub for that person, right? And then did a good job. It's really easy. They put the route. You have your GPS where you don't have to type in each one, but they put the route on the tape, and then it become to where I made the tapes to be able to train people, because that's another thing. It's like I love training people. So that's a really easy hustle. So you reach out to your local paper person or whoever you see, like just pay attention to your surroundings. Reach out to them, see how to get into that business. Say, hey, who delivers my local's papers? I wanted to see if you guys, are needing XYZ. So next thing I do is I am a notary public. So there are lots of things you can do if you're a notary public, right? People in my neighborhood all the time say, hey, I need a notary public. Maybe you need to do signings for homes, right? Maybe you need to just sign a legal document that you got to send back because you're refinancing your house instead of buying a house. Maybe it's a homeowner's thing, right? Maybe it's, a document that I don't know from somebody, I don't know, right? Whoever, right? Somebody credit repair, whatever. So that I can charge, each state has their set amount of fees that you can charge, right? I can charge $5 per just a regular basic notary. But if I get up into signing of like house signing and stuff like that, then I can charge more money. It's really easy in my state. I'm in South Carolina. It was really easy for me to get a notary public license. Mine, I got it in 2017, actually. I was reading it. And it's good for 10 years, right? So that is a certificate that you can hold and have. I didn't have to go to school for it. I think I studied and took a test. Right.
Mm.
And then like some places you might have to get in. It does vary on where you are. So if that is something that you think you want to look at, I mean, even social media teaches you how to do a lot more things with that Notary Republic, but I've just have it because I'm like, who knows when somebody needs that, right? It's something that a lot of people don't think about, but having that license, I can then go and I'm putting myself above the competition if I want to get a different job at like a bank, because banks have Notary Publics. And that's what got me into it. Is I was like, every time I need a Notary Public, I got to go to a bank. And I was like, what do I need to do? Right? I can't be the only one in this situation. So then I looked up how to become a notary public. I studied, I took the test, I got the certificate, bada bing, bada boom. Now I'm a notary public, and now I can use that until 2027. I don't have to worry about it. And I just have to recertify. Some states you do have to pay like some insurance and a bond and those sort of things. That's why I recommend people checking their local state laws. But you just basically go to the Secretary of State, and ours was Mark Hammond at the time. And then you can just look up that website at the Secretary of State and then just see how to become a notary public, because a lot of people are getting into real estate now, because I also like to trade as well. And real estate goes hand in hand with that. And a lot of people like to get into real estate, and guess who they're going to need? They're going to need a signing agent. And you can be that signing agent, build that relationship, build it with a couple of builders in your area, right? I have homes going up all around these places, and I plan to go out and meet with these builders. So that's something else that you can do. If you want to get chickens, you could sell eggs. So that is something else that I like to do is I will have, that side hustle. People just hit me up, say, hey, can I get some eggs? Maybe you have chickens, maybe you thought about getting chickens, maybe not. Maybe you're like, hey, wait a minute, what? Maybe it's looking more like a better investment now that we see the price of eggs. But I'll sell my eggs for $7 a dozen. Over here, they'll go up for $10 a dozen. But the difference is I know what, you can go to the commercial store and get them for maybe $5 a dozen at Walmart, those large grade A white eggs, but I don't know where where they've been. Do you? Right? I can show you where my eggs have been. So, I can charge that much money for that. So that's another thing I do. And then I also trade, and I like to teach traders. So that's another entrepreneurial thing I do is I like to teach beginner traders, because I remember how hard it was in the beginning of me learning to trade. I've always did long-term investing because through my job and that sort of thing, but I never actually traded or looked at the charts or knew what any of that, really was. I was just like, oh, that sounds good. And I'll talk to the people. They'll say, we're going to do this with your money. I was like, okay, that sounds good. Let's do that. But now that I know the charts, I'm able to go back to them and with a managed account and say, hey, and a good thing about that, people didn't tell me for the first, I think 8 years of me being at my job. And then now they were like, oh, you can do a managed account where they'll get a percentage of my earnings. So if I get an increase, right? So they manage my portfolio in a more one-on-one aggressive manner after we talk and build a plan and stuff like that, like based on more personal of what I want. And then now what they do is they manage it. And if I get, they get a cut. So they get 3% of my earnings. So it's more in their favor now, instead of just parking my 401k and that sort of thing. Now they can actually be like, oh, let's do this and let's switch out Apple right now and do this. Let's do this or do this, so they can switch out the different holdings so that my increase, I have more increase in that 401k account, because they, at the end of the day, they're getting a profit off of it. So it's like kind of their like commission. So speaking of trading, in beginning tradings, like that's where it all started in 2020, I believe. And so that's where I started listening to Clubhouse, getting more into it, and I was like, I can do this, right? And at first it was really hard because I have ADHD, right? So I have ADHD and I have PTSD, and having mental illnesses, it was really hard because I couldn't focus. I also have bipolar, right? So it's like I have the extreme highs and I have the extreme lows. And then I was going through a bunch of health issues. So I had to also learn to bring in my emotions with that. So that's another thing that people can do, but they need to kind of be careful and make sure you're not getting into trading just for the money, right? Because that will force you to have a different mindset that you can't have or that you shouldn't have. So that's something else I do for money. Let's see, what else? I don't know. What else have we talked about? Let's see. I can't think.
Let's see. You said Notary Public.
Yep.
You're a trader. You deliver papers, and you sold eggs.
Yeah. Yes. The eggs is a new thing, right? Because our chickens produce, if you're good to your chickens, they'll produce 1 egg every 24 hours. And I have 13 chickens. So we'll get, 13 eggs every day. And so it became a point where it's like, I can't eat 13 eggs every day. Me and the kids can't eat 13 eggs every day, right? So it's like, no matter how many people we have here, we can't eat 13 eggs every day. So I started selling them. I was like, I got to do something, because eggs don't have to be refrigerated. Fresh eggs don't have to be refrigerated until you wash the bloom off. So that can be like, they can sit on your counter for 2 weeks. So I'm sitting here, I have lines of eggs. So yeah, that's new. And then you nailed it with the Notary Public. Do that, deliver papers, doing the trading, doing the mentoring, because I also mentor people on the side with the stock stuff and the beginner stock stuff.
Okay. Yeah, because the game is to be sold, not told.
I also do pre-screenings for movies. So I forgot, because it's just like with COVID and stuff, we haven't done it in a while. But we're gearing back up for in March. But we'll do pre-screening for movies, which basically a movie will come out on a Friday, right? We have an entertainment group. I work with this gentleman in an entertainment group where I work with the manager of a local theater. And we rent out the whole theater from him. It's super cheap to rent out a whole theater. So we rent out the whole theater from him. And then we charge, a certain amount to get into the movie. And then I'll get a cut of that. So that's something where I'll go out like on a Thursday night, because we're able to show, we get the license from the movie theater and from the screening team from let's say Paramount puts it on. We'll get it from Paramount, right? and then we'll get it from them and we're able to show it earlier so people want to get in and see that, like we did with Black Panther, we did it with Avengers, like all of those different pre-screenings. And so then I'll get a cut of that, and I get to see the movie for free, right? And like, I'm a movie head, I'm a gamer, right? That's me. So I'm PlayStation girl. So I'll go on a Thursday night to see, let's say, Black Panther, and I'll come out with $500. So I made $500 to go see Black Panther. So that is something but that's, if people just look, like, there's so much stuff you could do. Like, I do website design on the side. Whenever I have free time, I'll do website design or coding, creating different links and stuff like that. So there's lots of stuff out there.
Pre-movie screenings, that is different.
Yeah.
That is different. I never heard of that one.
Really?
And
Yeah.
no, I never heard of that one. Normally when I hear of that, I would think like the movie theater is doing that. I wouldn't think there's an outside party doing that by renting out a theater and playing a movie.
Yep. We have like 3,000 followers, and so it'll sell out every time because the movie theater can only hold like 180. So we that's something that is easy, to do. You could even do it with a group of friends, if you have a big following or whatever. Like, that's just, it's lots of things out there that people can do to make money. You just gotta be open-minded, I guess I should say.
Okay. So, I want to stay with that. So, like, okay, because Detroit, like, has this, I'm in Detroit, and they have this independent movie scene now that's pretty big here, and it's growing each and every year. Mm-hmm. So let's say I find a theater. So what I'm assuming what I would do, I contact the theater, say, hey, I want to rent out the theater for X amount of time this day. Yeah. And I want to play this particular movie. And then I just sell the tickets for that movie using the resources from the theater.
Yeah, well, what you would do is you would say, hey, I want to rent out this movie theater. And you'll have to contact them and they'll say, okay, well, this size movie theater is, this amount of money. And then you'll say, okay, well, I want to play this movie. So you'll have to know what movie you want to play, right? So then you'll say, I want to play, I don't know, give me a movie. Give me a name of a movie. I want to play this movie, right?
Yeah. Ant-Man. I want to play Ant-Man.
Okay, so I want to play Ant-Man. And it's going to be on a Thursday night.
You were saying, okay, we want to play Ant-Man. We want to see if the movie theater has the license.
Yep, you want to see if the movie theater has the license, and you want to see, first go in asking how much they'll rent a theater to you for. Typically, movie theaters will have 2 to 3 different size rooms. You want to see, one is going to be like 60. It's like those movies that are kind of playing out, but like your mom and dad still keep going to go see them, so they need to still have them. So that's like the smaller movie theater. And then the medium one is kind of like the ones on their way out, and then the large one is for new releases. That's typically how it works. So they'll have usually a sheet on how much it is to rent out a movie theater for a private screening. You'll see that, and then you'll check the dates, because it can also vary on the date. Like, if it's going to be a Friday or Saturday, typically a lot more money than if you do it like Tuesday through Thursday, right? Pick that and make sure they have all of that. Get it in writing, get it in agreement, and be like, okay, can we play Ant-Man, right? They'll say, yeah, we have that license. What time, we can play it at this time or this time or this time, because it has a run time, and then they might have somebody before you or after you, and then you go forward and you say, okay. So then at that point, you pay, well, what we do is pay the movie theater person directly. Like, I work with the manager directly, so especially just like a smaller movie theater, you can't do this like an AMC, right, or a Regal. You got to do it like an independent movie theater. So then whenever you ask them that, they'll have the license, whatever, all that's good to go. You pay him directly. Pay him, let's say he's like $200. Cool. Pay him $200 directly at the theater, because he's got to charge it through the theater, so that they have that cost as well. And then you create a link to sell tickets independently. So people will pay you for the tickets, whether you do that through Cash App or through, a different link, or through, Eventbrite, or whatever you do. Then what I would do is say, this movie theater typically charges $15 for the movie ticket anyway. I'm going to charge 20 because of the fact that it's a pre-screening. So then you charge 20 or whatever. You're going to have to play with your audience and see exactly what price, you're thinking that you want to do with that. So then at that point, you have your price, the people pay you directly, that goes to your account. And then in theory, that's the money that you use to pay the theater, and then you keep the difference. Because the theaters over here aren't that expensive, right? It could be like $200 to rent out that theater for one movie screening, but if you get what, 30 people at $20, or 50 people at $20, or 60 people at $20, right? Then that's and something else you can do that I like, and this is a gym, this is a real big gym, is you can do the same thing but not with new releases. Think about it, Valentine's Day is coming up, so why wouldn't you look at being like, hey, have a date night, play a Love Jones, right? Play an old school R&B, like play an old school, type of date night movie, and be like, come with your boo. Then at that point you don't have one ticket but you have two tickets. So it's kind of just like thinking about things that are out there.
My wheels is turning.
Yeah, see.
My wheels is turning now. I'm about to find me an independent movie theater.
Yeah, that's just so much. And they want to work with you, right? Because then at that point you're bringing in sales on a Wednesday night, right? Do it on a night do a family night on a Wednesday night at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., whatever. And this is you working with the movie theater, bringing them money that they probably wouldn't have otherwise if it's a slow day. Build that relationship with the people there. Say, hey, what are your slow days? That sort of thing. That way you're an asset at this point. They're looking for you, checking on you. Hey, you coming in this Thursday? Blah, blah, blah. Right? Make yourself that person to where they want you and they're expecting you.
That is awesome. I think we can land the plane there. I think we can land the plane there. My wheels is turning big time now.
I know. See, that's why I was like, you just gotta tell me where to go, right? And I'll be like, hey, this is where we're at. This is what you do. Because I also I also sell merchandise. Like, I make signs. I have a Cricut maker, and I make like these different signs that I have everywhere. Like, the live, laugh, love, whatever shirts. Like, I make shirts and all that other stuff. So it's like, use what you have, use what you like. I like movies. I like being in movie theaters. That's why I was like, hey, we gotta make money somehow, right? Like, there's gotta be a way to make money. So, just always thinking about what you have. I needed signs for my house. I didn't want to buy them. I was like, I can make these. So I looked up how to make them and I made them. So yeah, just always thinking.
The queen of hustles, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, hustle. I am hustle queen. Yes, I don't mind being called that now. Now, if we were back in like the 70s or 80s, I'm like, I'm not no hustler now. That used to get a bad rap, but
right. Well, if anyone wants to connect with you, how can they do so?
Oh man, this has been the hard part for me. I'm gonna have to give you my link tree. There's a couple of things, but they can go to my marketing manager. My daughter just gave me a new email called It's Kayla's Corner, so they can go there. I'll send you all the information so they can put it below. But on Instagram, it's called It's Kayla's Corner, and then it's 2 R's at the end, and then that will be
all right.
Now, and it's getting up and running. You can also email me if you want to. I'll send you that email, but it's also it's Kayla's Corner at iCloud.com. I just like helping people. And then come see me on the morning shows, right? Because I love to connect with community as well. So I also drop gems there. Pre-market movers Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays, sometimes Fridays. We do stock talk, drop random tips, tricks, how to save money, how to make money, how to keep your money, all that sort of thing. So that's on Twitter as well.
And boom, there it is. I'll make sure I'll leave all the proper links within the show notes.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure having you. We definitely got to do this again. I'm going to sign out. I want you to stay on the line, though. This is the Entrepreneur Kickback with Kayla, and we are out. And let's end that.